Hey, I love that apartment you're in, Anthony.
Did you get a haircut?
No, but I am today. Stay tuned and find out where.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Today's June 2nd, 2022. You're watching No Vacancy Live, or maybe you're listening to it. That's Anthony Melchiori. I'm Glenn Hausman. Anthony, so there's a lot of hair gel going on here right now because it's getting out of control. I got NYU coming up next week, right? So I got to get the hair back in place, and I panicked. I didn't have a chance yesterday to do it, so I had to tamp it down, and we're gonna go.
Yeah, it looks like you almost got a haircut. Are you doing anything at NYU? Are you doing any
No, I mean we're gonna be broadcasting live at noon from Margaritaville Times Square. For anybody who wants to come by and check that out, then we're going to be recording something at 1. Then after that, believe it or not, I got to transition to a different hotel, and then there's parties and stuff that I'm going to have to.
Oh, okay. Because I have a couple of meetings Monday night, but then I fly out Tuesday. So I thought maybe I was missing something. But here, you want to go to this hairstylist, ready?
Yeah.
That's Tony Luke from Tony Luke's favorite, right? Philadelphia's favorite.
Yeah.
And who's that?
I see you in the front. Is that? It looks like the Rock's body double.
It's Mr. Moderano.
Yeah.
Steve Moderano from Moderano's in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, I should have. Why didn't I know that?
You should know that. They're both Philly. My friend Leo is shooting a show here in near my neighborhood, so I went down to the set.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. So no workouts today because yesterday you had 2. So
no, it's funny you say that. I got up really early this morning. I got up at 5:30. And I was going to go to a workout, and my body said, "Oh man, take a seat."
Right. I hear you. I have to. That voice screams in my head every day, but I have to discount it because it does me wrong. You know, it's treating.
My shoulder was hurting. Everything was hurting.
Like here I am thinking I was badass because I got up at 6 a.m. You said 5:30. Now Dr. Producer Suzanne is writing a note backstage saying she was at work at 5:30.
I don't want to brag, but I actually got up at 5.
Oh, God dang. Well, I'm going to get Mark Ergang on the phone. He's going to tell you how he gets up at 4 to go do work.
Hopefully a year from now, he's still doing it. All right. So
let's get on to the topic for today. Anthony, we talk to a lot of great CEOs and we talk to a lot of great people in their careers, but we haven't really connected the dots yet between what it takes to really get to be a CEO and what does that job even
Let's talk to mediocre CEOs. We've talked to great ones. Do we have mediocre CEOs today?
Well, me, because I'm CEO of my own business over here. So we got that disability happening. But all right, but I think this is going to be a fun conversation. If anybody out there has any questions, just drop us a line. Here we go. Let's bring on Georgine Muntz, CEO Visual Matrix. She's the one in the hospitality, empowering hospitality shirt, and Patty Jefferson, Chief Development Officer with them. Ladies, thanks for being here.
Hey guys.
Hello. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be on today.
So and what makes a great CEO is that she wears the shirt.
This is our new shirt logo on this side. Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking, he said, to 2 mediocre CEOs. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, Anthony.
Come on. You don't have a better line than Anthony? Like, tell me to go screw myself or something?
Well, but I was told that I couldn't say bad words.
Yeah.
You better not say one fucking bad word on this.
Okay. Fuck you, Anthony.
Now YouTube's going to limit the ad.
This spiral.
Sorry.
We're going to get this back.
Honestly, I don't care. I would prefer to have the saucy language and piss off YouTube. It's a lot more fun. Patty,
no more cursing. No more cursing. I promise.
Patty, maybe Anthony and I should have our own show.
Yeah, that would be great. You could call it raw talk with Patty.
Exactly. About everything and nothing, but always apply the 10% rule.
So, can I ask the first question? Very important question.
You may, sir.
So you were in Cancun and there was a lot of sun, I hear. It was very sunny.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know, but the first hurricane has occurred and it managed to go right over Cancun the 3 days I was there. So yes, it was not the ideal beach vacation, which is good because I have not been getting up at 5 a.m. and doing my workout. So might have been a blessing in disguise. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was no alcohol. On
Oh no, yeah, no. No. There was no alcohol before 9 a.m. because we didn't get up that early.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say that implies at 9 a.m.
On vacation, there should be a law that you mix your Cheerios with like scotch or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
or champagne, or Bailey's, whatever you like.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, do bay leaves actually do anything? Do we know if they do, or is it just Big Bay Leaf that's trying to propagate this rumor? Because I put it in stuff. I can't.
Yeah, you don't know. It's you get a sugar high, basically.
All right. So let's get into it. Georgine, you're CEO. Patty, you're Chief Development Officer, and I really want to help give younger people today kind of a framework for how all of this works. How do you get there? Because we see CEOs on TV. CEOs in a lot of ways have become superstars, particularly those billionaire ones, but it's still mysterious about how all of this works. So before we start going back and learning where you all came from and how you built your careers, I'm curious, what is a typical day for you, Georgine, if there is such a typical day? And, what do you have to focus on? What do you have to make sure is running properly in order to be successful?
And just give a little bit about your company so we have some
absolutely
understanding.
Absolutely. Visual Matrix has been in the hospitality industry for over 20 years, primarily as a PMS company serving a select service and mid-market hoteliers. So I took over this company about a year and a half ago when the founder, David Awad, was ready to retire. He sold his company to a private equity company that I have been working with for several years as a CEO. But to answer the question more specifically, we do serve about 3,000 different hotels from all different types of brands. And since I've been here, we acquired a company that does housekeeping and maintenance automation called MOP. That company is now a part of Visual Matrix. So we have these two major technology pieces serving hoteliers. This is my first foray into hospitality. I have 30 years in technology, a lot of financial technology, which I think you all realize, and I know hoteliers realize, is a lot of finance related, payments related activities in the PMS, but I'm having a really great time learning this space. But to kind of get to Glenn's question, what does it take to be a CEO? It depends on what kind of CEO you want to be. I started my career at American Airlines and for a big oil company here in Dallas that's no longer here. But that taught me that there's big public company CEOs, and then there's middle market small CEOs, and then there's growth company CEOs. Right. And I fit in that category. So
hold on, let me pause right there. So it's very similar to the hospitality industry, where maybe you have opening general managers and ones that get the property maybe going for a year or two, that sort of a thing.
And then the growth ones come in and do the marketing and get the sales working and get the operation, or you do have to make sure the operations is efficient, because if it's not, then you can't grow.
Right.
And so those are the things, that's the kind of CEO I wanted to be. Initially in my career, I started out in accounting and finance. I quickly learned I want nothing to do with accounting. It's way too repetitive. Right. So getting to your question, what's a typical day? If you're a growth company CEO, there is no typical day, because you're constantly outgrowing your team, your processes, and your tools. And so you're always looking for, how am I going to scale easier? How am I going to scale better? How am I going to add people like Patty to the team who can help us get to the next level of growth? So there's no typical day. And I love that. I tell people that we hire in, if you don't really enjoy chaos, you're probably not going to love this job, because there's not a policy manual that you're going to follow on how to do things. You're going to make up, Patty would say 90% of it, and 10% of it is established. The beauty of it is the team that was here when I joined was amazing and experienced, and they knew all the ins and outs. So I was able to come in knowing what I know about growth and scale, add that to their deep industry knowledge, and then bring in Patty with her deep partnerships and growth knowledge. And we've been able to create this company that is everything it was from an intelligent hospitality service company to what it is now, which is a high growth technology company.
Well, if you want to know everything you need to know about the hotel business, there's a show called Hotel Impossible.
Yep.
If you have 108 hours, we have 108 episodes, each an hour. You will get a master, probably PhD in hotels. So just watch that. And
I will do that because I am that kind of nerd. I am strategy. I did my MBA in strategy and finance. So that was part of the prep. If you want to be a CEO, you need to find out what criteria people need in that. And I figured out fairly quickly that an MBA was very helpful. And then the other thing is just the experience, gathering up the years of experience with different industries, different technology, different processes is extremely helpful. So getting in and doing your time in the jobs that aren't glamorous has to be done, I think, to really understand how you're going to motivate a team of people, 50, 60, 70 different people that all have different ideas about how things should be done. So nothing like experience, I'm sure, as you guys know.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me. So, Patty, what do you think is important for a working relationship with the CEO?
So it's interesting you said that. You asked that question because it was something that I wanted to hit on with Georgine. So I've worked with Georgine for several years here at Visual Matrix and then a company prior to this. And Georgine has this cult-like following, right? We will follow her and we'll do things. But what's important to note about the way that she leads and what makes her different than any leader I've ever worked for is she understands her strengths and her weaknesses. And she finds those strengths in her team that complement that for her.
What's her weakness? I'm going to get you in trouble.
Oh my, no, I love this because I
think this is important. Yeah.
No, it is important. So she is very, very uncomfortable and you can kick me under the table in social situations.
Right.
And I'm definitely not.
You're not like that.
Right. So oh God, I am going to say it out loud because it's already been done. So early on, we went to Italy.
Right.
Go see one of our biggest clients is there. And we crashed the board party of a board that we shouldn't have crashed. But we did. And it's a really great story. But Georgine was so uncomfortable. Someone walks up and says, Patty, take your coat off and go get a drink. And she's behind me going, you take your effing coat off? I swear. And I turned around and she's sweating and she's uncomfortable. And I went, oh shit, I see opportunity.
Yeah. Right.
Take my coat off, go get a drink. And it was the best thing we did.
Well, and your military background came
and
into
then
play.
Of course, I have a strong military background. So I was in the military. Husband was in the military. Here's a really crazy thing about this industry. There are more military members here than most anything I've ever seen.
Glenn
of course,
was
there are more men
SEAL.
too.
Glenn was a Navy SEAL.
No.
10% rule. Like you've seen a SEAL, right?
Nice. So I was in tech. I did nothing fun, and no one in my family gives me credit.
You were in the
my
Navy?
husband was a fighter pilot.
The Navy or the Air Force?
Air Force.
How did I know it was Navy or Air Force? I was in the Air Force.
That's
I was in the Air Force from 86 to 90 at Whiteman Air Force Base.
Really? What'd you do?
I had we're talking about Navy SEALs. I had the most dangerous job in the military. We don't really talk about it, but I was a protocol officer.
So more dangerous than even mine.
So I poured coffee for generals, and people laugh at me all the time when I say it was a dangerous job, but that coffee is very hot.
Right. Well, look what happened at that fast food restaurant. I mean, you never know.
And I encourage everybody to look into videos on that because that was actually a legitimate claim. That poor old lady got raped on that one. Now, I may not have been a Navy SEAL, but I did once ride a dolphin at Discovery Cove in Orlando.
Good enough. That's close.
That counts.
I know. So that was pretty cool over there. But so Georgine, how do you compensate for those things that you're not as good at? For me, I just try to get other people to do them for me.
Exactly. And I think that's the best thing is get other people to do them. There's two things. One is what Patty says, like going out and just putting myself out there. That's uncomfortable. Telling my story in a way that is, to me feels like bragging. I hate that. She's does it all the time. I try to hide.
Right.
But those are two things. And the other thing is I am really not detail oriented. Like I don't want accounting that, every reconciliation, every account, every transaction don't like that. I like the strategy, the big picture of how we're going to move this forward in a big way,
Right.
and how we're going to put the pieces together. But when it comes to putting the pieces together, I need someone to do that. And the wonderful thing about this company is our COO, Charlie Rhodes, has been here 20 years.
Wow.
He is the best at that. Like he will spend hours like mapping out exactly how this is going to work. And the great thing there is you can have an idea, but an idea without good execution is just a wish or a dream.
Right.
And that's what really makes it work. And then Patty out there telling people our story and making sure they know what we really do and how it can help them. Those are 3 key pieces. And then we also have our technologist who's amazing, and he's forward thinking on things like joining the HT&G committee and pushing forward standards. What I found, or what I was a bit surprised about when I joined hospitality, is how that most of the technology integrations are on 15-year-old standards that were meant for a restaurant.
Hey, at least it's not 20. So
I know it could have been like, I know it wasn't here, but
right.
What I realized is, wow, this is something that Patty and I both worked together in auto finance for several years. And the company that I co-founded with a friend of mine from auto finance, we had a standard, and it was really hard to create the standard in that industry because you had Chase that I mentioned to you earlier, big banks, small finance companies, and everything in between had to agree on a single standard for like a credit application for a car loan. And once we got that standard, the entire industry was able to adopt the internet and automate things that they could never do before. Hospitality is not really there. The HT&G standards were there, but people stayed in the older standards that weren't really standards. It was one company's.
So let me ask you a question, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about women being in the C-suites, and you guys being in the C-suites is important to our audience. It's important to really seeing the things that you've had to overcome. So give me an example where either early in your career or now, maybe 5 years ago, it doesn't matter, of a moment where you're like, oh, okay. All right, they're treating me different because I'm a female. I got to kick some ass. So where, like, give me an example of where you had to kind of like let people understand who you are. And that's either for either one of you.
Yeah. And I'm sure Patty has many stories. There's so many stories there, and it's real. But one of the things I realized, and I'm a terrible golfer, but I realized in finance that if you wanted to be at the table, you had to play golf with the people making the decisions.
Right.
So I took lessons, figured out how to play golf, had a lot of fun playing golf, because really I realized then you could just drink beer and you have an excuse for not being good at golf. So I found my way in golf pretty easily. And I was always the best D player on any scramble team. But that was one place where I realized if you want to change an industry or a problem, you've got to get in there and get where the problem solvers, the decision makers are. That was one thing. The other aha moment is you have to create, we call it the good old boys network. You have to create a good old gals network, if you will. We need to support each other. What I teach any women that want to become leaders is stop. My husband calls it cat fighting. He loves it. He thinks it's highly entertaining. Stop the cat fighting and be supportive of each other.
Yes.
Because men will call each other and say, hey, there's going to be an opening for a VP over here. You better make sure that your boss knows you want that job. And women will think, I'm competing with them. I'm not going to give them a leg up.
Right.
So try to overcome those things and realize that to win in the world the way it is now, you've got to somewhat play by the rules and then adjust your rules to work. There's a couple of areas.
So it's almost like you got to learn what the rules are and then utilize them to your advantage. And then you're in a position to be able to make changes, right?
Yep.
Also, what a CEO would do. Really you spend your first 6 months learning the company, learning its positioning, learning all of that, and then implementing a series of changes. But I'm also curious, Patty, I'll get back to you in just 1 second. But Georgine, what are some of the important habits that you think are essential in order to be in the right place, in the right mind, with the right attitude to have a job like yours?
You have to, you got to push. which is very uncomfortable and not. So I'm not only female, but a Southern female in finance and technology. I couldn't have picked a worse starting place.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, that's amazing. So you got anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. But you've got to push and you've got to get out of your comfort zone. So that is a habit that is really hard for women. And I think it's hard for men too. They just practice it earlier and more often with, cultural things that you're competing for positions on teams and other activities that make that competition a little more comfortable, but pushing the envelope, asking for the job, making sure that if you want that next level, that you are talking to the people who decide what that next level is and asking them, how do I get there? What do I need to do? What's going to make the difference? Finding out, doing those things proactively.
Right.
I was talking to a female in hospitality recently, and she said, I want to be CEO. And I said, well, have you asked for it? And she had. And I was like, great. That is a great first step. And I said, what'd they say as to why that you can't get it? And she said, I don't have finance in my background. And we talked about her degree.
Right.
I said, well, go get a finance certificate. Just like women have to take out every block, even more than potentially someone else would, to get that role. So get in the habit of asking for help, pushing the envelope, and finding the path forward. You can't wait for it to happen.
Right. Yeah, you can't wait for it to happen, because if you wait, you're going to get passed over. You have to make your own magic. So Patty, we throw it back to you. How do you make things happen?
I don't ask, I demand.
Nice.
This is what I'm going to do. And I do. And it's interesting, just to kind of what Georgine said. Women, so often we are so competitive with other women. If we supported each other more for the right reasons and we pushed women forward that actually deserved it, I think we could change the landscape a little bit. Yep. It's one of the things that really makes Georgine shine. She doesn't push all women forward. She finds those great women that have her mindset, and then she pushes them forward. But for me, and I learned it in the military, and everyone is going to want to hear, oh my God, Patty was treated differently because she was a female in the military. And again,
that's
and
we're going to make our money. That's how we're going to get those sweet clicks.
Right. But I wasn't treated any differently, because I think I was raised by my father. And I think that helped me understand that my worth. Right. I know what I'm capable of, and I don't have to soften it because I'm a woman. And quite frankly, I don't care if anyone thinks, that I'm bragging or I'm boasting, but it's really kind of what it's like in a man's world for those that deserve where they are. My daughter said recently, she's an intern with us, and she was on a call, and she goes, Mom, you were kind of a bitch. And I said, oh, good. And she goes, what do you mean good? I said, so if that was Dad on that call, the colonel, the big fighter pilot man, and he said what I said, is he an asshole? Well, no. And I said, then you're wrong. Right. And
that's fascinating.
And I think that's really for women, that's kind of what we need to overcome. But
that's interesting. How old's your daughter? 19?
She's 19.
Okay. So your daughter would say that, and I'm sure your daughter grew up in a very household where she was taught, that it doesn't matter your gender, that she would even say that, because you usually have to deal with that outside. Because listen, I've been called a lot of names in my life, and if I was a woman, the BIT, there's your daughter, hello, or somebody's daughter.
And that was my daughter.
That's my daughter's friend.
BITCH, that would have been my nickname.
Yeah.
I was called other things that were, pretty intense, yep. but it was almost like I was called it with respect. It's like, he's a badass, he's this, he's that. It's almost a label of respect. Like, don't mess with that guy.
That's the nail on the head.
The B word is, you're just emotional, you're temperamental, you're just being a female, and it's such a bad word. I don't even use it here. It's just I have 3 girls.
But Anthony, I don't care.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that it's interesting that a 19-year-old woman would even say that she was like, you sounded like that, because she wouldn't have said that to her father.
Right. Well, exactly. Yeah. And the way that I presented it back to her is, I'm proud to be a bitch.
Good.
because
Can I get you a t-shirt? Can I get you a t-shirt that says that?
yeah, in all honesty, that's how I got to where I am. And
Right.
so
Well, can we not use that word? Because I don't think you got there because you're that. I think you got there because you're
Assertive.
passionate.
I like to call it assertive.
And you're
That's what you said. Yeah.
but you're also curious. I can tell just in a few minutes talking to you, you're curious.
We work for a PMS company,
Right.
and we're changing that acronym to HOS. So, I mean, we can go from one to the other.
Okay. So we're shooting for hotel operating
systems.
Mm-hmm. But Patty's she's gonna go with the shortened version.
No, but it's and okay, so let's, if I can, Glenn.
Please.
Okay, the property management system, hotel operating systems. It's such a competitive place. Everybody promises everybody. Like property management systems in our industry is like, let's see, who's the person that everybody hates, right? Think about the one person that everybody hates, right? Everybody hates, I don't know, the mechanic or whoever it is. And you're like PMS, everybody's like always pissed off the PMS system. And I know there's not a lot of upside on PMS. You got to sell a lot of them. There's a lot of technology behind it. There's a lot of expense behind it. There's so many of them. Like, so a lot of people have tried to kind of expand and be a development officer and get in my office and promise me the world and not deliver. So not to talk about your company, but then how do you just as corporate executives, how do you overcome those obstacles when I'm already don't want to talk to you because I'm so tired of property management systems, I want to kill myself?
Yeah, we quickly, so because I'm strategically minded, I can't do anything without like seeing the big picture. Mm-hmm. And I had a great fortune of working with someone on our strategy. 3 or 4 people who've been in the industry for a long time, who've been at Amadeus, who've been at the big franchises, explain to me how the space works and what it's like to pick technology in hospitality. And the way that the marketing person described it was it's like going through a city that's being bombed that has dinosaurs on every corner. He's like, it's a danger zone. Mm-hmm. And hospitality operators would rather do anything than pick, change, or talk to technologists. And the PMS is the heart, right? So you're right in the middle of that. And I was like, okay, I get it. So what we're trying to do and what we've been successful at doing is we're trying to communicate directly with the customers on what it is they need. Make their life easier.
Not to interrupt you, but what's the difference today in hiring people as it was when you first started? You're getting off of PMS and your business, but just the hiring for you right now. We've been hearing horror stories here, and we've been experiencing horror stories here. So if I can just ask that to Patty, because Patty, I'm sure
trying to say something, I can tell.
As a development officer, you have to look, you have to get people that know how to sell. And a lot of the young people today, either they oversell themselves and they think they should, run the world, or they're sitting in the corner, afraid of their own shadow.
Right. Or they stick around for 2 weeks and then something else they think is better comes along.
Shiny ball, as everybody says to me, anywhere I am, they're like, keep the shiny ball away from Anthony.
Oh, that's right. Or the shiny little squirrel. So the first thing is, this goes back to working with Georgine in the previous company. It always starts with your culture, right? The culture is what keeps our employees. It's what brings them to us and it keeps them. And I'm a big believer in referrals, hiring people, hiring people, what the background is. It's the friendships are there so that you kind of feel like they'll go above and beyond.
How do you teach people how to sell?
I don't know that you really do. I think you have those people that have that ability to be able to do and say things in certain situations. And those are the people you pull onto your team. I think, and I'm finding quickly that your manager of those people should not be the same. They should have a little bit of a different type of personality. I don't.
Are you not going to go into that? You're not over sales.
I don't do sales. I hate sales. I really don't. And I partner I am big on alliances. And when Georgine originally hired me way back in the day, she hired me for partnerships. And my clients are partners. My vendors, I hate that word, are partners. My teammates are partners. And when we treat each other the same, like we say we have to treat our partners, our clients, then we feel a little differently about who we are, where we are, and how we do business.
Right.
It's what made us successful at our last company. And I feel like it's really going to be what makes us successful here.
Yeah. And the culture piece is key. We haven't, since I've been here, we haven't lost anybody to voluntary leaving. So, we started with the culture. We worked on that for a year. You didn't hear anything from us for almost a year. And then during that year, we also worked on our positioning, the strategy, and where we were going.
Right.
So hiring people hasn't been hard for us because everybody wants to be in technology. And there's a lot of people who don't want to be in hospitality because of the grueling hours and how hard it is and things that, they've known for years. So we can get people easily. It's keeping them and making sure you get the right people. That is a challenge, I think, for everyone. I mean, Patty has hired the most number of people in our organization because when I got here, there was no sales and marketing. Wow. And she's been bringing on a team to sell. But a couple of things on how we train them. One, have a process. So we put in a CRM with a process that can help people be successful. That was key. And then the other thing is really like the Sandler method of sales. It's really about finding the pain and helping solve the pain for customers. And so our top salesperson is very well versed in that. And Patty hired her onto her team. So it's a challenge. I think hiring salespeople, aside from the current situation with the economy, is the worst position to ever have to hire because they can sell themselves or they're not even going to get the interview. And then how they operate and how they fit in the culture is very hard to ascertain during an interview. You're just not going to know. Right. So you've got to be willing to make changes. And we've already had to do that some.
Yeah.
So I steal them from other teams.
Yeah. She does. She just makes sure they work good and then she moves them over.
That's hysterical. So Patty, before we wrap up, I've been networking for my entire career, right? I started off, I was scared, all of that kind of stuff, but I just kept at it and focus. What is your best suggestions to give younger people or just people that have feared networking, the ability to get in there and get results?
Let go of the fear. I mean, it's fear. Fear prevents us from doing anything, right? I mean, no kidding. I was 8 weeks into this position in the hospitality industry, and I think I met and formed relationships with more people at Alice than half of the folks that have been in this industry for 20 years.
Right.
No, I have no fear of failure. So if I fail, so what? Right. If I go and talk to and become besties with Billy Brown, he's going to do all these things for me or whatever. Right. I had no fear. I went out to Alice.
I think that's your Air Force. I think that's your Air Force training because we don't fail, we adjust.
Exactly. And really, that is the key. It truly is. It's let go of the fear. Who cares?
Yeah, because in the military, you literally can't have failure. So,
you can't because people die.
The thing is in the military, and you're bringing this out now that I'm thinking about it, is we adjust faster than most people.
Yep.
I don't wait for someone to tell me to adjust. I see the adjustment before I have to make the adjustment. So I'm going to get there before I'm told to make an adjustment, if that makes sense. And I think that's your military training.
It is because Anthony, people's lives are on the line.
Right.
They really are. I mean, and you have to, right? So, but I mean, that's the best advice. You put yourself out in situations that make you completely uncomfortable because the fear is really the unknown. And then you'll see it's not nearly as bad as the fantasies you build in your head.
I want to add to that because I get to watch her do this sometimes uncomfortably is she doesn't have a preset agenda on how it should go.
Right.
Let it go where it goes.
Yes.
Never.
That's a great point. Because Patty, if you go in there, the people that fail when talking to me are the people that have a really overt agenda, right? The people that just say, hey, how you doing? And then we just kind of have a conversation and then get to know each other over time. Those are the people I want to be doing business with.
Of course, because they're genuine, because there's no preconceived anything. Seriously. I mean, Georgine's absolutely correct. I don't know that I've never gone into anything with a a practice of what I was going to say or what I was going to do. Either you accept me or you don't, and that's okay. And we move on.
Nice.
Or I force you to.
I love it. All right, Georgine, one piece of advice to give someone who doesn't believe today that they could be a CEO.
One piece of advice: figure out what it takes to get there, and then start working on it. Take the first step. Get going.
Beautiful. I love it. Patty, Georgine, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you.
Okay, I want to do the drinking one next.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. We'll totally get you on that one.
I can say bad words then.
Do you know Craig Sullivan? You know?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good. We're gonna have a call.
I know everyone now, Glenn. We do everything, and we know everyone.
That's right. That's cool. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Nice.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you on Friday Night Audit. All right.
Did you meet her at Alice? Is that how she? Did you guys meet her?
No. Hold on. Let me bring it back one quick. Patty, where did we meet? Because you're one of those people that just I feel like you've just been there. I don't remember.
It's funny you asked that because I have a really great long time friend of mine who says he's in the hospitality industry, Shane Platt. He goes, Patty, if you get to know no one else, make sure you know Glenn. So I was sitting at a table and Glenn walks by and I said, Glenn, and he comes over and I said, dude, I need you to do an interview with Georgine. And he goes, all right. And I said, and if you don't, it means you hate women.
Right.
And
Oh my God.
I may have also said that to a couple CEOs of some flags. So, and it works.
Yes. Good. Well, it definitely worked. And by the way, shameless plug, Shane Platt and myself will be on stage on Monday, June 13th at the California Lodging Industry Association meeting.
Shane and I have been friends for 20 years. We've traveled together. He is, oh my God, he is absolutely one of my besties. And he sits on our executive advisory board.
Oh, that's really interesting. Makes sense because he has a similar experience, and not just in the franchise size.
Yeah.
But
and who doesn't love Shane?
Yeah.
Right. And if you guys start a podcast and don't invite me on, you hate Italians, okay?
Right? Oh yeah, let's do it.
Right. And don't get me started on your feelings about us Jews. All right. We'll leave it there. Patty, Georgine, thanks so much.
Glenn, I tell you something. I've been with you for a number of years now, and I kind of hold my own a little bit with you with going to these conferences and stuff, but very little. It's like, dude, I don't know how you did it for how long you been doing this? 30 years?
Yeah. Well, I graduated college about 29 years ago, but I've been doing this probably since.
But it's true. If you want to be connected to the right people, you need to know Mr. Houseman with 2 S's.
All right. We'll see you at the NYU Hospitality Investment Conference this week. Next week again, I'll be at CLIA. I think I'm going to go into high tech. I think you may be going to high tech. We'll find out about
when is high tech. I'll tell you if I'm going.
Is the last week of June.
I will be in Florida the 20th through the 23rd for business, and then I guess I'm going to high tech.
All right. Well, I guess you'll be in Florida.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to spend June in Florida? I know Suzanne.
Actually, next week for 2 days, I'm going to. It sounds so not like me. I'm going to be golfing because my high school buddies like golfing, but it's so not me.
For the record, all the time I've known you, it's the first time I've ever heard you say anything about.
Do you know? I'm actually not bringing my golf clubs. First of all, they're not the greatest golf clubs, but they're like a starter set. But I'm not bringing them because I don't want to be that guy going through the airport. I'm going to spend the $65 around them,
right?
To with my golf club. I'm not going to be that guy.
I like it. I like that move. All right, everybody. If you like the way we move on this show, why not watch the video show on audio and the audio show vice versa? So check that out. Follow us. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn. Subscribe. Do all of that kind of stuff. Any final thoughts? Yeah.
Can I come up with something completely out of left field?
Yeah.
You just said move it. I don't know why for some reason I thought Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
But I met Vanilla Ice a couple of years ago in a green room when we were both taking the stage together at an event for Travel Channel.
Right.
Scripps, because he was on the show on Scripps. And it was me, Guy Fieri, and him. And Guy Fieri was busy on the side.
Right.
And there were some other people in the room. I can't remember. Oh, the Property Brothers were there too. And I was hanging out with them and they're friends of mine. But I never met Vanilla Ice. I've met the other guys. And I've got to tell you something. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
That's
he treated me like I was his best friend. And the reason I'm bringing him up is because I just came across him on TikTok. And he's balling and killing it.
Nice. Good for
He's
him.
like, because of the 90s is back, I guess, because there's been no pop culture for the last 20 years. So pop culture is over in LA. So he's killing it.
Oh, good for him. Everybody deserves a good paycheck.
Yeah, right before he came up, I was finishing up something, and I went on TikTok to see my viral video where it's going, and I
Hit that million?
I start crying. What's that?
You hit that million plus?
1.2 almost.
Nice.
And so I'm on the couch, and I'm about to come run upstairs
Right.
to do this, and my daughter said, "You off your call?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Why are you crying? Was it a bad call?" I said, "No, Vanilla Ice just gave his daughter a new car." It made me cry.
Something else that might make you all cry. Tune into Friday Night Audit tomorrow at 5. Comedy cocktails. Lots of crying, very meaningful moments. We're going to have Danny Giverts on from Hunter Hotel Advisors. If anyone knows him, you're going to absolutely love this show. All right, everybody, we'll take you there. All right, everybody, you've got one life, so blaze on, and
Be kind to yourself.
see you all next week.
And don't drink so much on the podcast.